So, day 5, it's Friday, and we're in Trondheim, almost at the cathedral, not quite. Welcome back, and thank you so much for following us the whole week from our live sendings from Turku Cathedral, Nagu, Pargas, and yesterday Turku. Today we've made a huge leap from a tiny island in the middle of the Baltic Sea the whole way over to the west coast of Norway and to Trondheim. And I hope we'll manage to make it to the cathedral today. As always, you have the possibility to chat with us live. We'll be able to answer your questions. Also, our hosts in Trondheim will be able to answer your questions. So please be active. You can write in English, Finnish, Swedish, Norwegian. It'd be great to hear from you. A quick mention, if you're listening to this live, please join us tomorrow. We're going to try to recreate the whole journey again by communally together collecting our kilometers and steps to try to reach 1,200 kilometers. And you can register that on our online form or through our app. But not to bore the people who are listening to this afterwards, we'll talk about that a little bit later. You probably know the saying, all roads lead to Rome, and it's almost the same with Trondheim. It's been such an important destination, both for trade and also for pilgrimage. And although the waterway ends at the Swedish, when you come to Sweden, for most hikers or pilgrims, hiking pilgrims, you have to have your own boat if you wish to follow the waterway up the Swedish coast towards Sälonga and Sundsvall. So most pilgrims carry on foot on, for example, Vikingaleden and other pilgrim paths through Norway. And we're going to hear more about them now. So let's jump over to Trondheim. Hello, guys. Are you there?
And welcome. Yeah, we are here. I am Hans Morten, and I have my team with me here. Let's say hello to Lisa. Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
Out there we have Are. He's making a film of the river. Yeah, so here we are.
Great.
And welcome to Trondheim. We are standing at the river banks of Nidaros, close to the cathedral, and very soon we are going to do the last couple of 100 meters up to the cathedral. But the place we are standing now, it's called Hadrian's Plass, the place of Hadrian. And the legacy says that this is the place where Olav Haraldsson first was buried. So here we have St. Olav's spring water at the place where he was buried. And they say that this water here is healing. So I'll take a little taste of it before we start the walk up to the cathedral.
Is it good?
Delicious. You should all come here and have a taste, and bring a little jar with you and take some of this holy water back home. Yeah. Now we are, as I said, very close to the cathedral, and today is a beautiful autumn day here in Trondheim. We started with rain and wind, but now we have blue sky, and yeah, for the last couple of 100 meters. Trondheim is a shrine of St. Olav, and pilgrims has been walking here to Trondheim for hundreds of years, and every year today pilgrims, thousands of pilgrims are coming here. This year, unfortunately, we have this corona situation, and this year we have much less pilgrims along the routes, both because of the borders are closed, and also because some of the accommodations have closed down for this summer because of the virus. Oh, this was a very still, and I have to stop and get my breath back here. But this is the way of pilgrimage, and I think you guys know it.
Yeah. What about Norwegians? We found here in Finland that we've had a big surge of Finnish people walking on the path. It's quite common when you do a pilgrimage, you go abroad. But this year we've had a lot of Finns. What about in Norway? Have you had a lot of more Norwegians walking on the paths?
Yeah, absolutely. The numbers of Norwegians has increased this year. So mostly we have had Norwegians. But as last year, the Norwegians was about 18% of the pilgrims reaching the cathedral. So when we lose about 8% of the foreigners, there are quite few pilgrims for this year. But Norwegians, yes, more Norwegians has been walking this year, and hopefully we have opened their eyes so they can see that pilgrimage to Trondheim and along the different pilgrim paths are very good to do. And hopefully they will also explore other parts of pilgrim routes in Sweden, Finland, and Denmark when the borders opens up again in the future. So now we can see the top of the cathedral behind the Archbishop's Palace at the right-hand side here. And we have 100 meters left to the 0 milestone. You have a milestone in Turku, 1,200 kilometers left to Trondheim. And in every municipality in Norway, we have a milestone telling how far it is left to Trondheim. So the last milestone at this west side of the cathedral, it's 0. There is 0 kilometers left. You have reached the destination. So it's a popular point for pilgrims, but also a point of a lot of feelings, because they have reached their destination, the cathedral, but they're also ending their journey, the pilgrimage, and we experience that a lot of pilgrims feel it hard to leave the life of pilgrimage, because it has meant them. It is the whole journey has been so incredible. So a lot of feelings for people walking far and reaching this point that we are about to go up to right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. And the feeling, if you've been walking for many weeks, so the feeling now, as you're walking up to that stone of 0 kilometers, it must be incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to do yourself to be able to understand how it is. And a lot of people here say they are not actually pilgrims. They walk as hikers, but after some weeks they realize that they reach the cathedral as pilgrims. So the journey, the walk, it will transform you, and no matter what you believe in, or what kind of motivation you have, or where you're standing in your life, a pilgrimage will do something to you. It will mark you for in some way. So here we are reaching the 0 milestone. No kilometers left to Nidaros.
Amazing.
And it's amazing. And I guess some of people following us online right now also has been here in Trondheim, in front of the cathedral and in front of this milestone.
Yeah, we could have a quick shout out to, for example, Johanna, who writes here that she visited in 2016. It feels like yesterday. Unfortunately, the spring didn't work that time, so she couldn't taste the water. But I guess she'll have to come back again and test again the water. Also, thanks to Marian, hello, Amy, Scandinavian Live. Nice to get your comments, and to all of you watching, please comment. We'll pop it up on the screen later. So,
James.
Yes.
James, we just met a pilgrim who arrived this milestone right now, and Lisa will ask if he can ask questions and to say hello to a pilgrim reaching here today. So just hold on some seconds here, and so maybe we can have a short chat with the pilgrim. No.
Oh, fantastic!
No, she wouldn't do it live, and I really understand, because as I just mentioned, this point is very touchable for pilgrims, because of all the feelings related to the journey. But maybe we'll go inside and take a closer look to the inside of this amazing cathedral.
It's very impressive.
Okay, so let's just head up to the front gate and see what's inside here.
Okay. So we're going to get a small tour around the cathedral, and I know there's also some organ practice going on, so I'm afraid the sound quality, sometimes you can't hear the guide maybe so well, but we'll try to text, so you should be able to see the text at the same time.
Good, yeah.
We are inside Nidaros Cathedral, the destination for all the pilgrims who came here in the Middle Ages, but also today. And this cathedral was built, it was completed in this size around the year 1320, and they had spent 250 years in building it up until the size it actually has today. Now, in the Middle Ages, it was a very impressive site in the city sphere, because Trondheim was a small city with only 2,000 inhabitants, and Nidaros Cathedral was standing there, slightly outside the city, the largest church in Norway. Now, the cathedral is partly similar today, like it would have been in the Middle Ages, but there's also been several fires, so we have a lot of reconstruction and rebuilding, but the building itself is still impressive to this day. In front of you here, you have the main altar in the cathedral, and in the Middle Ages, there would have been a silver shrine with the body of Saint Olav inside. Now, Saint Olav was the national saint of Norway, and he was canonized here in Nidaros only 1 year after his death in 1031. Now, we don't have the shrine there today, but we can imagine how it would have been in the Middle Ages. The line on the main altar, a large silver shrine made as a small cathedral, decorated with gold and gems, and the reliquia of the Holy King inside. The pilgrims who came here would have walked in side corridors we have along the side, up to the main altar, and then around in the ambulatory, so they were able to come as close as possible to the shrine of the Holy King. So we can go there as well, so if you follow me. We will walk around the octagon, which has several parts even today from the 1200s, with a lot of the small sculptures made by the stone masons who helped build this cathedral for almost 800 years ago. So imagine being a pilgrim here in the Middle Ages, walking in this corridor, slightly dark, and looking through the small openings to see the main altar and the reliquia of the Holy King, Saint Olav. The reason why they had walked all the way to Nidaros. Now, many pilgrims days, weeks, maybe even months. Some paper I see, but the destination was the shrine we had on top of the main altar. That shrine was removed in the 1500s, and the body of Saint Olav was buried underneath the church. It's a mystery where he was buried, but it is believed he is somewhere around the main altar. As a pilgrim here in the Middle Ages, but also today, they would have looked up on all the windows you have in the cathedral. There would have been stained glass windows, even though the ones we have today are from more modern time, from the 1900s. They are probably similar to the ones the pilgrims in the Middle Ages would have looked upon. They show Bible stories, and so the pilgrims who couldn't read, were able to learn Bible stories by looking at the windows they have here. And the color used in the windows you see here are the same as they used in the Middle Ages. So around us here we have a lot of the ornaments that are almost 800 years old, and they were made by the stonemasons who came from England, Germany, France to help build Nidaros Cathedral. And they spent 250 years in building it up, and they took a lot of inspiration from other Gothic cathedrals, especially in England, while building this. In relation to Saint Olav, we can take a short stop here behind the main altar, because in this small room we have an altarpiece dedicated to Saint Olav. So Saint Olav himself, the national saint of Norway and the eternal king of the country, is standing there in the middle, holding his axe, his attribute. On top of this altar there are several rocks left there by pilgrims who come here. They still take the same talk we have been doing, and they leave stones on top of the altar to be rid of a burden after having completed the talk. Now, beside this altar on the floor, we know there is a partly hidden grave, and someone believes that is the grave of Saint Olav today. But it's still a mystery, and we say Nidaros Cathedral is the resting place of Saint Olav, but exactly where he is, and if he is in this room, we don't know for certain. But we know that in the Middle Ages, we would have been able to look upon his shrine on the main altar directly behind us. Now, one very important stop for everyone visiting the cathedral in the Middle Ages was the well of Saint Olav. We have it on the left side through here, and it was water come from the spring of Saint Olav who came to the cathedral, and they believed the water had healing properties. So all the pilgrims stopped there and brought water back to sick family members, for example. So you can see just here into the left. So we stop here to take the water, and we can see that the wall surrounding it is completely dark because it is soapstone, and soapstone has the quality that it changes color when you touch it and turns black. So here we have a sign of all the people who have touched the walls of this cathedral during 800 years. Now on the floor in front of us, we have two small holes, and for the people who took the holy water into their flasks, if they spilled water, the water would go through the holes back into the well, and it could be reused. So it was very important not to spill any holy water. So now we have completed the tour around the octagon in the cathedral, and especially in the Middle Ages, all pilgrims and other visitors, they would then go to other altars dedicated to saints that they knew. Because in this cathedral, they had 24 altars in the Middle Ages, all dedicated to different saints. It was very important to go to the altar with the saint most important for you. For example, how you worked, because you had saints for blacksmiths, you had saints for healers, so they could go to the altars and have a small mass there before they left the cathedral.
Thank you very much, Maya. That was really interesting, and I think you got a real feeling of how it would be to approach the cathedral and actually enter it if you've been walking as a pilgrim. Hans Morten, how do pilgrims, when they arrive in Trondheim, they go to the stone, and what else should they do? We can't hear you, I'm afraid.
Well, maybe now you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear now. Great.
Yeah. You all the problems with the techniques, but now we are good. The pilgrims, when they arrive at the milestone, they of course enter the cathedral and have a tour in there and sit down for a time and have a quiet time there. And we also have pilgrims mass every afternoon in one of the small chapels inside the cathedral. Close to the cathedral, we have Nidaros Pilgrimsgård. It's a pilgrim center who welcomes the pilgrims. They run a stall, and they also have this Saint letter, similar to the Compostela you get when you arrive the cathedral in Santiago de Compostela. So they register the pilgrims. They have volunteers there taking care of pilgrims and offer time to talk and listen to stories. They have a great cafe, restaurant there. So it's a place where pilgrims meet others and share their experiences along the pilgrim path.
Yeah. So how many kilometers do you need to walk? The last amount of kilometers to get to your Olav's letter?
Yeah, you have to walk at least 100 kilometers over the last kilometers, similar to the Spanish way of doing it in Santiago.
Yeah. And could you mention a couple of the popular routes if you want to do the last 100 kilometers? I know one is, for example, from Stiklestad, where Olav actually died in the battle.
Yeah, Stiklestad is a very popular place and a very special place in the Norwegian history, and also in life of Saint Olav or Olav Haraldsson, because Stiklestad was a place where he was killed in a battle in 1030 when he arrived from Novgorod and crossed Sweden to get into Norway. So starting at Stiklestad på St. Olavsleden is one of the popular places for the shortest path into the cathedral, but also Gudbrandsdalen path, Gudbrandsdalsleden, starting in Oslo and following Gudbrandsdalen Valley, crossing the Dovrefjell Mountains. If you want to do the last 100 kilometers of that path, you start at Berkåk. It's a railway station, and it's a nice place to start a walk, and then you have about a little more than 100 kilometers to reach the cathedral. Great.
We have a question from Lorna. Is the Pilgrim's Mass all year round, or only in the summer?
No. It's only in the summer. I think we start in the mid-June, and runs the mass until the mid of September, and that's because that's so far that's our main season. But as we saw today, by the zero milestone, still pilgrims are arriving also today. But most of the pilgrims get here in June, July, and August.
Yep. So that's the best time of year, the middle of the summer.
Yeah, middle of the summer. And some of the routes in Norway, as I just mentioned, Gudbrandsdalsleden, it's crossing the Dovrefjell mountains, and in Dovrefjell it might snow every month of the year. So the summer is short and the weather is rough. So some of the routes are we have a very short period. You can use the whole route, but some of that part you can also cross with train and other transportation. So it's a lot of options to find the right path and the right time of year to do it, but mainly from beginning of June and out September.
And actually, it's quite a good compliment because in Finland, on the Waterway, the best time is May and the beginning of June, and then again end of August, September, and a little bit into October. So it's possible to do many parts of the path during the summer.
Yeah, and that's one of the really great things about having a Nordic network, because different parts of the pilgrim routes of the St. Olav network you have different areas, different geography, and I think for Norwegians it also will be popular in the future to do the St. Olav Waterway as a part of the pilgrim route to Trondheim in a time of year when it's not that good to walk in the mountains here in Norway.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having many Norwegians over here. We've not had so many.
Well, I think you have to be prepared, because Norwegians finally has got an eye opener for pilgrimage here in the Nordic countries, not just in Spain and Italy. So I think the future will be interesting for us all, working with pilgrim paths and I think a lot of pilgrims and especially now because of the Corona situation, I think pilgrimage will be one of the preferred ways of doing a holiday, because it's you don't get into big groups. It's safe. It's quiet. You control over your own trip. So I think pilgrimage will be more and more important for people in the future.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. Johanna asks, what is the cost for a pilgrim entering the Nidaros Cathedral?
Pilgrims entering the cathedral with a pilgrim's passport do it for free. They have paid by doing the whole trip. So pilgrims are welcome to visit the cathedral for free. Yeah.
And we have the two passports. So the one that you have in Norway, and we have then the Finnish one, which is almost the same, just that we have different languages of the pilgrim passport. Yeah, so St. Olav Ways, it's also a cultural route of the Council of Europe, and you're the route manager, so the boss of the whole network. So could you tell us a little bit about the cultural route and how it maybe differs from other routes? So for example, St. James Ways to Santiago, they're also a cultural route, as is Via Francigena.
Yeah, the network of Olav Ways to Trondheim got the status as a cultural route from the Council of Europe in the year 2010. And St. James Way in Spain to Santiago has always been the big brother and the one we look upon to get ideas and experiences on how to do it. But we here up north we have other qualities, and I think especially people from Southern Europe they appreciate the quietness, the nature, the friendly people. So I think we have another kind of pilgrimage that's not that crowded, and the nature and the summers here in up north are different from Southern Europe. So for us, we started as a cultural route with Sweden, Denmark, and Norway, and a couple of years ago, you Finnish guys catch up and made the St. Olav Waterway. That we are very happy to have Finland into this network and sharing the status as a European cultural route. And for the history, it's very interesting to look further east to Russia and Novgorod, because Olav Haraldsson he stayed his last 2 years before he entered Stiklestad and got killed. He stayed in Novgorod in Russia, and hopefully in the future we can build this cultural route, the St. Olav Way, all the way down to Novgorod, connected to St. Olav Waterway in Finland, and crossing to Sweden, and connecting to the St. Olavsleden from Stavanger and all the way to Stiklestad and Trondheim. That will be an amazing route and one of the most spectacular cultural routes of Europe, I guess.
Yeah, and it's something that we're also trying to help you work on here in time for 2030. So the 1,000 years since Olav's death.
2030 will be very, very important and special year here, especially in Norway, because it's actually the birthday of Norway, 1,000 years birthday of the nation of Norway.
Yeah, there's many dimensions to Olav, and he's very important, especially for you. But then I think also we've seen that for the whole Nordic countries. So we heard earlier in the week that there are approximately 8 new paths being planned in Finland. So some will be very small Olav paths, and some are also trying to be big ones and to make this connection to Novgorod. How do you feel in Norway that there's so much excitement that's actually just come during the past maybe 5 years in Finland about St. Olav pilgrim paths?
Can you ask the question again, James? I had some problems here.
Okay, it's there's approximately 8 other paths in Finland that are now developing to be Olav paths. So some will be very small, they'll be short paths, and some will be they're trying to be the extension of the path, the waterway to Novgorod. How do you feel about that in Norway?
I think it's natural, because the legacy of Saint Olav is spread wide around the northern Europe. So there are traces after Olav, a lot of places, and well, here in Norway we have recognized new paths as St. Olav Ways, ending here in Nidaros. So I think all this is bigger, is building a strong network, and is doing a great job for the idea of pilgrimage and for the legacy of Saint Olav. So keep on doing the good work, and we'll do it together.
Great. A couple of questions from Lorna. One is how much of the path is in Norway is on the road, and how much is on nature paths or maybe gravel paths?
Oh, yeah, it's a difficult question. we will like to have most of the paths out in the nature, but the old pilgrim routes wasn't special pilgrim routes. It was the main road to Trondheim, and so it is still today. Some places we have to follow the roads because of the landscape, nature, but maybe approximately 50-50, I will say, but it's different from route to route. Some of the routes goes more into the landscape in the woods and in the mountains, but all the routes have parts of it in the road network.
Mm. Do you have some other good advice for someone who's coming to do the last part of the path in Norway or hike in Norway? Some things that are good to know, for example, about the accommodation, also maybe about the paths. Do you need to have good boots? For example, in the Waterway, we say that if you have good walking shoes, you don't need boots. We have good enough paths here, but maybe in Norway you need better equipment.
Yeah, I think so, because here you have some of the areas you cross is in the mountains, and you have to be prepared for doing a mountain hiking. Some other parts you are down in the valley. So the best advice is to check the route at the website. Olavways.com or pilgrimsled.no in Norwegian. There we have a map for each of the paths, and we also have marked on all the accommodations, so you can find information. And we also have regional pilgrimage centers, and they are doing a great job in each of their regions. So they have the best knowledge and can do the best advisory job for pilgrims planning their trip. So take contact and ask for good advice.
Yeah, I just popped up, I don't know if you can see it, but a map from your website, because we had a question also that can they see the map, and especially when we were talking about Stiklestad and the last 100. So here we see the routes in Sweden and Norway, and I think, yeah, Stiklestad is somewhere here, the last 100, and this is Dovrefjell.
Yeah. From
Gudbrandsdalen, it was after Dovrefjell.
Yeah, it's after Dovrefjell. That's right.
Yeah.
So it's in the lower areas.
Yeah.
And if you click on each of the names of the paths, you will get into the path itself, and you can find information about the pilgrim centers and the accommodations, the churches, and other points of interest.
Yeah. Great. A couple more questions. Where can you buy the maps? Or can you print them out from maps?
You can download them for free at our website.
Great. And we have the link on the screen at the moment from the website. A question, I think, for all of you, also for Ara and Lisa, what is your favorite route? Do you have one? Or do you have to be diplomatic?
Wow. We have to be diplomatic. We are serving 7-8 routes, and we are wow. I think the best answer to that question is that the routes are so different. It depends what you like. The newest route here in Norway is the coastal route. And I think that's a route very similar to Olav Waterway, because it goes along the coastline of Norway, a sailing route where pilgrims have been sailing for 1,000 years. The main road of Norway for trade and transportation was along the coastline. So that's a very special pilgrim route, connected by not a path, but different historical places along the whole coastline, and that route you can do for almost all the year, because we are not that vulnerable for the weather and the seasonal conditions.
Mm.
So I don't know
I
if it was a question, it was an answer to your question, but yeah, we have a lot of specialities, and yeah. You can
well, and for example, Esther,
find a lot of
she...
information at the website and find your own favorites.
Yeah.
Are you still there, James? Er vi ferdig? Do we still have contact?
Hello.
Hello.
We had a power cut here. All the power was off.
Power cut. Okay.
Yeah. I live in
But now we are
the
connected in
countryside, so now I'm working on mobile data. So, but anyway, I think we've been streaming for a long time.
Yeah.
And anyway, they could hear you the whole time from Norway, so that was great.
Good.
And we had Esther also saying that she had walked the Rombo route. So I think the same. I think there's good information on the websites, and people can find them. Yeah, find the route that they like. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us from Norway about the routes, or something special to know if people are coming to walk in Norway along the Olav Ways?
I think we have mentioned the main things, and the best advice for us to give is to look upon the website and search for information there. It's a lot of information on each of the routes, and practical advices for hiking in Norway. So we will welcome you all to explore the pilgrim paths, both in Finland, in Sweden, and Denmark, and Norway. And hopefully we can build this network of St. Olav Ways even stronger and longer for the next years. Yeah.
One question again from Lorna. about food. Is there any special pilgrim foods along the route? We've talked a lot about the food in Finland this week.
Special pilgrim
meals, maybe, or some foods special foods.
When you arrive here in Trondheim, you can buy a delicious pilgrim soup here in the visitor center close to the cathedral, and we can really recommend that one.
That's great. I think there's so many questions coming actually that perhaps we should redo this sometime to talk about, especially I know that there's a lot of, especially because of COVID this summer, there's been a lot of Finnish pilgrims. And I've had a lot of contact, especially when the border with Sweden was closed, but it was possible to go to Norway. And there's a lot of interest. So perhaps it's something that we could think about later. If we get more questions, we could try to collect the questions and have a quick question and answer later.
Yeah,
also,
it's a great idea.
Yeah, and we also got a comment earlier on that they would like to see more of the cathedral. So perhaps we could also organize that. We have some plans now for some very small secret shows that we're going to have occasionally in October and November and through the winter, showing different parts of the path, and especially places that people don't normally get to see. So perhaps we could also organize that. We can be in touch.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll be happy to show you more of the cathedral. Maybe we can drop the organ so we have it more quiet and peaceful. Yeah, it's a lot of hidden treasures inside the cathedral, both low in the buildings and high up in the towers. So we will love to get the opportunity to take you around the cathedral in the future.
That's great. That's fantastic. Well, I think we've been talking for a good time, and I also appreciate that it's Friday evening for you guys in Norway. So thank you very much for giving up your free time, Are, Lisa, and Hans Morten, and talking to us and giving us this wonderful tour around the cathedral.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, people. Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope you will also join us tomorrow when we have our 1,200 kilometer challenge, where people can walk wherever they are and try to help us reach Trondheim from Turku. But
exciting.
Yeah. I'll explain a little bit about that now. So thank you very much, Hans Morten, Are, and Lisa. And we'll hopefully see you and speak to you later on. And thanks
absolutely.
for all the comments. A lot of thanks coming in now in the comment boxes, so we can see that. But great. Thank you, and have a nice weekend. And hopefully we'll see you virtually on the path tomorrow.
Great. Bye-bye.
Great. Bye-bye. Thank you. And thank you very much for watching. Now we've completed. We've had, I think, approximately 5,000 people following us this week, and that's just fantastic. So thank you, all of you, and thank you very much for all the comments and really good questions coming in. If you would like to hear a little bit more, especially about the Norwegian section, so you can comment or send us some information or some questions, and we'll try to organize a question and answer section with the guys in Norway in the future. Tomorrow we have our I was going to show you some views, but we have, unfortunately, with this power cut, I have some difficulty showing you. So I'm not sure if I can get it because my other screen has disappeared. But anyway, tomorrow we have our 1,200 kilometer challenge, as you can see down below. And we'd like to have you with us. There's different ways to join. You can find it on our events page on Facebook. You just log your kilometers or your steps on our online form, but we also have a web app. And on the app, you can join a group if you want, and then you can chat to some other people. If you're watching this afterwards, you can see the link down below here, and that app is going to be open for the future. So if you're watching and you'd like to experience 12 different points along the path, then you can visit the app, download it to your phone. It's like a step meter. So you walk on the path, and after a while you come to different places that we've visited this week, and you can explore them, find out more about them. There's 360-degree view pictures there, and also some information and links. So it's quite a nice way to get to know the path. And please keep up with us on Instagram and on Facebook, because already in the beginning of October, we have a plan with Anna-Stina of some nice behind-the-scenes views, and I'm sure we'll also finish up with similar ones from Turku Cathedral and Trondheim Cathedral, and some other nice places to visit and interesting people to visit along the path. So you'll get to know them during the winter. And of course, we absolutely hope that we'll meet you live in person next year on the path. If you're coming here, please get in contact, and we try to meet as many of the pilgrims as we can. So just drop us a line. You can do it through any of the social media, or we have some contact details on the website as well. But thank you for following us this week. Thank you for being so active. And apologies, about the technical difficulties this week, but sometimes that happens. And Lorna says, you walk where you are, so you don't have to travel anywhere tomorrow. You just walk. You can walk with your friends, walk alone. Many people are doing walks that connect some relationships. So, for example, Olav churches, or especially in Sweden and Norway, there are a lot of Olav fountains or springs, so you can walk to them. I know in Sweden, Vikingaleden, they have some group tours. On Turku, there's also a group tour tomorrow, and there's some private groups in Paragas and Turku tomorrow as well. I know that they're going to walk together. But tag us on Instagram, and then we'll share your pictures. That'll be great, and very nice to have this community with us. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again. Have a fantastic weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.